Have you ever looked at a legal document and it felt like trying to read some kind of ancient, unbreakable code? You are definitely not alone. But today, we're going to change that. We're going on a journey to crack that code, together.
Our whole adventure starts right here, with this one single line of text. Now, I know, to most of us, this probably looks like a jumble of letters and numbers. But what if I told you it's actually a super precise address on the massive map of Canadian law?
So what is this thing actually telling us? That's the big question we're going to tackle. And by the time we're done here, you'll have the key to unlock not just this line, but any line like it.
To understand the whole thing, we've got to start with the individual parts. We're going to break this citation down piece by piece, and the first piece of the puzzle is the name of the case itself.
So that first part of a legal citation, it has a name. It's called the style of cause. Now, you can just think of it as the official title of the case. It tells you right up front who's actually in the legal fight.
You see, there's a really clear, logical structure here. Step 1, you get the parties, in this case, R v. Morgenthaler. Step 2, the year the decision was handed down, 1988. Then, Step 3 is the reporter. That tells you where to find the case. Here, it's on CanLIE, and it's document number 90. And finally, Step 4 tells you which court made the call, the SCC, which is, you guessed it, the Supreme Court of Canada. Now, the names in these citations are kind of like a secret code of their own. For example, R doesn't stand for a person named R. It's for Regina, which is Latin for queen, and it represents the government in criminal cases. The little v is just shorthand for verses. And you'll see other stuff too, like LDT for companies, or Minister of da-da-da for a specific government department. It's all about being as clear and concise as possible.
Okay, so now we get the what, the basic structure of the citation. But that kind of leads to the next big question, right? Why this structure? Who made this up? Who decided this is how it has to be written?
I mean, is this just something lawyers have been doing forever, out of habit? Or is there, an actual official rule book somewhere that lays all this out?
Well, it turns out there is. There is one single authoritative source for pretty much all legal citation in Canada. It's called the Canadian Guide to Uniform Legal Citation, but pretty much everyone just calls it the McGill Guide. This is the ultimate rulebook. And believe me, this isn't just some random book gathering dust on a shelf. It's a huge deal. As a former Supreme Court Justice Ian Binney put it, this guide helps the entire legal community work together towards uniformity. It's the one tool that turns what could be total chaos into a clear, orderly system that everybody can understand and use.
All right, so now we know how to read the signposts. So how about we zoom out and get a look at the entire map? Let's see just how huge this legal world really is.
I want you to think of each of these citations not just as a name, but as a key that unlocks a door into this massive, incredibly diverse universe of knowledge. And to give you a sense of just how big that universe is, we're going to use the Thomson Reuters academic catalog as our map. Seriously, the sheer breadth of Canadian law is just incredible. On one hand, you've got these really foundational texts on Aboriginal law, which deal with fundamental constitutional rights. And on the other, you've got these super specific guides, like one on the law and practice of public inquiries. And the range just keeps going. The law covers everything from massive nationwide topics like the Federal Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act, all the way down to the nitty-gritty rules of court for a single province like Alberta. Just look at this list, it's wild. This is just a peek from the catalog's table of contents. Every single one of these is its own world. Family law, criminal law, immigration, torts, intellectual property. It's a massive legal landscape. And honestly, we're just scratching the surface here. Okay, I get it. Seeing a map that big can be, well, a little overwhelming. It's one thing to know this huge world exists, but it's a whole other challenge to actually navigate it. But the good news is there are tools for that exact problem. And that's the real question, isn't it? When you're staring at this giant, complex map of the law, how do you actually find your way from point A to point B without getting totally lost in the weeds?
Well, you use a guide. Books like this one are basically your essential toolkit for the journey. They're designed to take that overwhelming landscape and make it explorable, teaching you the skills you need to navigate it like a pro.
And we're not talking about abstract theories here. These are real, practical skills. A guide like this shows you how to break down facts, how to research cases and laws, how to build a research plan, and maybe most importantly, how to craft a winning legal argument. These are the skills that take you from the classroom to the courtroom. And what's really cool is that these guides aren't stuck in the past. They evolve right alongside the law.
The fact that a core textbook like this now has a whole section on Indigenous legal research, that just shows you that this is a living, breathing system that's constantly updating to reflect our world today.
So let's just take a second and look back at the journey we've just been on. We started with what looked like a completely chaotic, coded line of text, and we followed that thread all the way through the system.
And this really is the big takeaway. What started out looking like confusing jargon is actually a super organized and accessible system. We went from one single line of text to seeing an entire universe of knowledge, and we found out it's all governed by clear rules and supported by amazing tools designed to help you find your way.
The code has been cracked. The system is revealed. The map is in your hands, and you have the tools to navigate it. So the only question left is, are you ready to explore,